Hello, everyone. Today I am going to be going through the Song of the Year recipients for the Grammy Awards of the last 30 years. So, the beginning, I want to preface this by saying I have decided, since this award has been technically given out since 1959, originally I had thought maybe I would do a video ranking all 64 Song of the Year awarded songs, as it was 64 years ago from its inception. But then I thought that's going to be a very long video, and I kind of like the idea of doing, and I'm going to do this as a sort of recurring series. I turned 30 this year, and so I thought, why not do just every single Grammy Song of the Year winner from my lifetime? So we're going to start in 1993, because I was born in the spring of 1993. So I technically was almost born when this first Song of the Year award was given out, because it's usually February, January. And then we'll go obviously to the 2023. So it's technically 31 years if you do the math, but we'll say 30 years to make it even. And so I am going to be, this is my ranking, my personal ranking of all 31 of these songs over the last 30 years for the winner of Song of the Year. But before I do that, I also want to make a distinction. There are two awards given at the Grammys that can get a little confusing to differentiate between, and I had a hard time figuring this out for a while too. You may be confused seeing Record of the Year and Song of the Year, as they are both given oftentimes to the same song, and it is one song that receives them. The difference between Record of the Year and Song of the Year, and why I'm choosing to focus on Song of the Year instead of Record of the Year, is Song of the Year is an award that's given actually to the songwriters, the composers of the song. So, if you talk about like Taylor Swift, for example, she writes a lot of her own music. So Taylor is receiving that Song of the Year award. Ironically, Taylor Swift has actually never won Song of the Year, so it's a little ironic, but I'm using that as an example. Record of the Year is an award that is given to sort of the recorded product that you get, the mastering. So it includes all of the producers, all of the mixing engineers, the mastering. It's an award that does also go to the artist who's receiving it because they did record it in the studio, but it's also an award that's meant to sort of congratulate everyone who helped work on the finished product of the song. It's not necessarily an award I would necessarily think that needs to be divided up like that. I feel like we could give like Producer of the Year, which we already have an award for, in non-classical and classical categories. An award that is solely for the producers, the production. So if we awarded a song, I feel like Record of the Year and Song of the Year are kind of redundant. And the difference is so minimal that it does get a little bit, and oftentimes, I think more often than not, the same song will win both. That doesn't always happen though, and it definitely did not happen this year, and we'll get into that when I talk about the 2023 Grammys, which happened just about a month ago. So, it's interesting to look at and be like, why did this song win Record of the Year and this one won Song? Sometimes it's pretty obvious. Other times, I'm not so sure. But I will, in most of these cases, I will also reveal for the year I'm talking about what song won Record of the Year for context in looking at the Song of the Year recipient. Because again, this video is going to be predominantly about the Song of the Year receivers, but it's also going to be mentioning the Record of the Year receivers. And I might also mention because the biggest award, Album of the Year, was given to a song that came from that album. So it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes they spread the love around 3 different artists. So it's very rare, but it does happen. So without much further prologue, let's get into this video. Remember, this is my personal opinion. Some of these songs I had not heard until recording this video, though most of them I had, as they are all mostly very popular songs. But I think this will be kind of an interesting thing to look at, the breadth of what the Grammys considers good music over the last 30 years. Definitely some disagreements. So let's begin with place number 31.
You got it if you want it, got it if you want it, said you got it if you want it, take my wallet if you want it now, jump in.
So at the very bottom, I decided to put Bruno Mars's "That's What I Like," which was the Song of the Year awarded recipient for the 2018 Grammy Awards. This song came out in 2016, but you know how the Grammys, they like to take their eligibility period and drag it out a long time before the ceremony. So the eligibility period ends like 6 months before the ceremony or 4 months before the ceremony. It means you're going to get some songs that are almost 2 years old getting nominated for the Grammys. It's very different from the eligibility period of other award shows like the Oscars, so it can get very confusing. And there are some instances where some artists did some shady trying to get their song nominated when it really didn't qualify in the period of eligibility. We'll get to that. But I ultimately, out of these songs, decided to put this Bruno Mars undeniable hit, which I had actually never listened to in its entirety until making this video, from 24 Karat Magic at the very bottom, simply because I'm sorry, but Bruno Mars is horribly overrated to me. And especially this song. This song in particular does not have the magic that I get from other songs of his. Even some of the Silk Sonic stuff, which I did also check out for this video. That's What I Like is a bit stale for me. It's very generic lyrically. And I find it very interesting that this time around at the Grammys, they decided to give 24 Karat Magic, the song, the Record of the Year award. And then they gave the Album of the Year award to 24 Karat Magic. I think 24 Karat Magic, if I had to compare the two, is a stronger song. But maybe that's because of the production. But what about That's What I Like, songwriting-wise, is so... There's nothing meaningful about the song. There's no deeper meaning to the lyrics. Why they chose to give this song Song of the Year and not just give it to 24 Karat Magic, or, spread the love around and give it to something else, give it to someone else, I have no idea. The Academy is just obsessed with Bruno Mars, and I've had enough. So at number 30, U2 is another darling of the Academy, so to speak. And I think that some of their earlier awards were definitely deserved. But this is their last time they ever got a big award in 2006, I believe. This song I never heard before recording this video, and I'd not even heard the title of, so that goes to show just how little staying power it has. I don't think anyone really talks about this song anymore. Honestly, it feels to me like this might have been an award that they wanted to give to a band that they felt they kind of slighted in the past in other categories, or, in other bigger moments in their career. That probably has to do with why they decided to give it to them for a lackluster, very generic song that, I don't know. I mean, yes, it technically has a little bit more weight behind the lyricism but to me, it ain't cutting it. And it's interesting to think about how the Record of the Year recipient was to Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Yeah, I much more agree with that. I mean, that's a good song. It's a meaningful song. Sometimes you can't make it on your own. It's sonically not there for me. We Belong Together by Mariah Carey was nominated alongside, and I would have given it to that one. I would have given it to Mariah with We Belong Together that year.
You home tonight. We are young.
At 29, I had to put We Are Young by Jack Antonoff's previous, now defunct band Fun, featuring Janelle Monáe. She doesn't actually really have a proper feature on this song. Don't understand why she's even credited, but whatever. This song was originally, like, when I first conceived of this video, when I looked at the list, I was like, this has to go at the bottom. And it is more of a personal taste thing. I hated this song when it was all over the radio in 2012, 2013. I also hated their other big hit, Some Nights. I don't know which song I like more or hate more. I just don't like either of them. But you know what? Objectively, looking at this list, I couldn't put it at the very bottom. I felt like this song had maybe some merit to it, because if you're thinking about creating a pop song, this song does check off a lot of great boxes. I mean, it technically is very catchy. The piano is nice. I don't know. I mean, I can't be so hard on it now. Maybe because I haven't had to listen to it in so long. But again, there are so many other better songs that could have been in this category. But the song I am glad did not receive it was the song that got Record of the Year that year by SOTY featuring Kimbra, Somebody That I Used to Know. I really don't like that song. But it is one that I objectively have to look at as not bad per se. I just really don't like the melody of that song. I do not like the screechiness of the man's vocals. The song is just not it for me, and I can't fully describe it. But it's a perfect example of why a lot of men should not be allowed near the microphone because they do not have the vocal chops to pull off those falsetto screeches. The melody is just very forced and cumbersome. Out of the list of songs that could have given the award for Song of the Year, I gotta be honest, I might have given it to Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. That's probably who I would have given the award to. At number 28, we have Beyonce's only Song of the Year award to date, Single Ladies, which is one of my least favorite Beyonce singles. There's nothing really that special about it. It does give you memeable choreography, and the music video is honestly more iconic than the song itself. It became, a huge thing. Obviously, Kanye felt it should have won the VMA, that whole drama that went down with Taylor Swift. But that's a whole other story. We're talking about the song itself. And for Song of the Year, not record, what is Single Lady saying that's so important to give it that award? Honestly, I hate to say it, but this is the time where I would have given it to Taylor Swift with You Belong With Me. It just doesn't make sense. Single Ladies, no. The Record of the Year award went to Use Somebody by Kings of Leon, a song I'd never heard.
And dance with my mother and me, and then spin me around till I fell asleep.
At number 27, we have another song that I had never heard, A Dance with My Father by Luther Vandross. Again, I feel like this is sort of a legacy award more than an award that is prime. It's not giving a song to Luther in his prime when he was actually on the radio. This song probably wasn't that big of a hit, but they wanted to throw a curveball and give it to him. Now, it's a nice R&B ballad. Don't get me wrong. He's got a great voice, but it's nothing that special to me. Though I think that the sentiment about the songwriting dedication for his father is the kind of thing I like to see for these kinds of awards. Give it to the song if it has deeper meaning, if it's about something very personal or meaningful, not just about putting a ring on someone's finger or having a fun time at a bar. That's not really Song of the Year writing material. So at least this is the first entry on this list that has some real depth to it, lyrically. However, Record of the Year ended up being the song I would have given Song of the Year, but again, I can sort of see why they chose it for record, Clocks by Coldplay. I mean, one of my all-time favorite songs, and my ultimate favorite Coldplay song. It definitely deserved a nod for either record or Song of the Year.
Look around like no one knows, think you're so criminal. Bruises on both my...
Next, we have the 2020 winner, Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. I gotta hand it to Billie. She had that clean sweep, but this is one of the awards for her that I find a little head-scratching. Bad Guy is not one of her strongest songs. It is one of her more radio-friendly big hits that she's had. So if we want to celebrate commercial success, go ahead. This is the Grammys, and the Grammys are often kind of strange in terms of rewarding commercial success versus artistic prestige. Sometimes they go in one direction, sometimes they go in the other, but they're not consistent, and that's what really bugs me about them. Bad Guy did not deserve it. I'm sorry. Though it was pretty cool to see someone as young as Billie Eilish win the award. This song also sweeped for Record of the Year, and of course she got the album. But if I had my way, this would have gone to I'll Always Remember Us This Way by Lady Gaga or Norman Effin Rockwell from Lana Del Rey. Give Lana her Song of the Year. Will she ever get a Song or Album of the Year award? Let's hope that with Ocean Boulevard, she can pull through at the 2024 Grammys. Fingers crossed.
You thought you found a friend to
take you out of this place somewhere.
So at number 25, we do have a U2 entry that, like I said, is a little bit more deserved. Beautiful Day. It's a more familiar song to me. It's one of their stronger songs. I mean, again, it's a little bit mid to me. It's not something I'm going to phone home about, but do I see why it got Song of the Year? Okay. You know, I'll give U2 their props. They also swept with Record of the Year as well. But it had some really strong contenders by some greats. I mean, I Try by Macy Gray. I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack. Say My Name by Destiny's Child. I mean, I could have seen it go to any of those, but U2, I would have given it to Leanne Womack for I Hope You Dance. The women did not show, it was, you know, the only male nominee out of 5, and they were the ones that won out of all these women, because Breathe by Faith Hill was also nominated. So, you know, 1999, it's kind of interesting. This was the Grammys following the 1999 Grammys, which were considered the Year of the Woman, or the Grammys of the Woman. Well, it seems like in 2000 or 2001, I think this was 2001 actually. Yeah, this was 2001. They definitely said, no, we're going back to giving the men the award. Okay, no, we're not giving women or women of color that award. We're not gonna, you know, let them sweep again.
Goose dripping in the bathroom, bloodstains, ball gowns, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our.
At number 24, we have the 2014 Song of the Year winner, Royals by Lorde. This is another Bad Guy by Billie Eilish situation, even though I do prefer Royals to Bad Guy. I think if I had to rank the two, I would put Royals up higher. I just think Royals is a very clever, very avant-garde, genre-bending song that did sort of push Gen Z forward. You know, it really it sort of paved the lane for the kind of music we're seeing today. Especially on radio. It was very different for the time, and so I see why they gave it its props. But it's not a song that I ultimately come back to much. It was overplayed, and it lost a lot of its luster for that reason. Record of the Year went to Get Lucky by Daft Punk, and that makes a lot of sense. Get Lucky is all about the production, and Pharrell and Daft Punk did a wonderful job with that. This makes sense for how they just, you know, divvied up the awards. And I will just say, I'm so glad it didn't go to Thrift Shop, because I'm looking at the Best New Artist award, and it was Macklemore. I'm like, I'm glad they gave it to them, but I'm really glad they probably didn't give it to, okay, Thrift Shop wasn't nominated. But it beat out Locked Out of Heaven, Just Give Me a Reason by Pink. But I see why they gave it to Royals. That makes sense. We're starting to get now into the lane of songs that I'm actually happy won Song of the Year. The first like bottom 10 or so are songs I'm like, this shouldn't have won. Now I'm starting to be more in agreement of who won.
Well, I looked real hard and asked him what she's got he's looking for.
So we come to this year at place number 23. And I had a hard time placing this because this is another song I'd never listened to until I filmed this video. So I guess that makes it the third song I hadn't heard before. But Bonnie Raitt, this is another legacy award. And can I say that I think all of our jaws were on the floor when we saw her receive this award, when Jill Biden was standing on the stage and she said Bonnie Raitt. I gotta be honest, I thought it was going to be another La La Land Moonlight scenario. It was like, Jill, did you read that properly? Did you go by who won, not just the first name you saw on the card? Because I legit thought something had gone wrong. I guess I haven't been watching the Grammys live so much that I forget that, like I said, the Grammys like to throw these curveballs. And I appreciate that they say, you know, F the charts, F popularity. This is not the Billboard Music Awards. I appreciate that, but then they always do it at the expense of not awarding Black women or artists who I do feel like deserved a shot at that point for actually having a good song that maybe had commercial success. I gotta be real with you. I actually really did think this was gonna go to As It Was by Harry Styles. I thought Beyonce's chances with Break My Soul were not great, especially in this category. I thought maybe she had a better shot at Record of the Year. Now, a lot of people are annoyed that Taylor got snubbed here for All Too Well, the 10-minute version. I understand. This would have been a big win for Taylor. I mean, if we want to reward songwriting, this is a perfect example of a song that would not have gotten record. Wasn't even nominated for that. But if this was a time, it's if Taylor were a man, if Taylor were a man, they would have given it to her. They would have given it to them. I really do believe that. But yeah, I just like that was a real curveball. Um, Old school blues music is not something you see getting any kind of recognition, especially in any of these big categories, in any of the time periods I'm covering in this Grammys video. So it's not only to give Bonnie Raitt her flowers, because I do believe that Bonnie has received tons of Grammy Awards in the past. She won in the early 90s Album of the Year and Best Female Pop Vocal for Nick of Time. So she's been given her flowers at the height of her career. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad it's a woman, and I love Bonnie Raitt. I actually had checked out her blues album, Just Like That, that came out last winter. But I prefer Made Up Mind. I think Made Up Mind is a more interesting song for me sonically. But Just Like That is very personal lyrically. Apparently, this song is about a story she'd heard about a man who had her son's heart implanted, and the woman got to listen to her son's heart. Obviously, her son, had donated and passed away, and the mother now gets to meet the recipient of her son's organ and listen to it, and that's a marvelous and heart-wrenching, emotional tale to tell. And and Bonnie interpolating that, lyrically. I mean, this is what Song of the Year is about, right? So I'm not ultimately that mad. Yes, I thought it was going to go to a bigger artist, and secretly I was rooting for Taylor. I also wouldn't have minded going to Adele's Easy on Me, but I was happy to see that Easy on Me got Best Pop Solo Performance. I was not expecting that. I was thinking it was going to go to As It Was or About Damn Time, but they spread the love around a little bit. As a Record of the Year went to About Damn Time by Lizzo, which made perfect sense. That's definitely more of a Record of the Year award than a Song of the Year award. The song is immaculately produced. I mean, immaculately produced. It is pop disco gold. And Lizzo fully deserved that. It was good to see one woman of color shine through on that stage and get her flowers. But yes, it was the snubbing of Taylor Swift and Beyonce that I think got a lot of people upset. And Bonnie, but you know what? Listening to the story and just meditating on the song, the slow, plaintive guitar, Bonnie does her thing, and I'm not that mad at the end of the day, but no one was more shocked than her. I mean, it's going to be one of the more memeable moments I think we're going to be seeing of award shows. I mean, she couldn't believe it. I think she was thinking in her head there was some mistake, because there was no way in a million years she thought she was going to get that award, and I think we all were really shocked. But at the end of the day, I'm not so mad about it. There are other awards that are more frustrating. Like the Album of the Year award. Again, I'm kind of using this as an aside to talk just briefly about the most recent Grammy Award ceremony. Harry's House did not deserve that, okay? As It Was could have deserved Song of the Year. I think it was also nominated for Record of the Year, which, I don't know, I wouldn't have been terribly unhappy with that for. I wouldn't have been unhappy at winning Best Pop Solo either. But not for album. Not for album. This was Beyonce's. It should have gone to Renaissance. Ultimately Renaissance did win Best Dance Album, which is something. People are, I think, downplaying that a little bit, even though I think that was pretty much a lock for her. But at the same time, that was a big middle finger to Beyonce. And at this point, I wouldn't blame her for not showing up anymore, because they have consistently snubbed her. And like I said, with the Song of the Year award that they gave her for Single Ladies, it's like, come on. Single Ladies? No, out of all of her better hits. Anyway, that's my rant about the most recent Grammy Awards. But yes, proud of Bonnie. Harry Styles, I mean, he admitted this award doesn't mean that much, but then he, of course, said things like this don't often happen to people like me. And we all raised our eyebrows. Cis white man from England. Things like this don't happen to you very often. Gosh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how it's so rare that a cis white man from the UK winning Album of the Year? Who would have thought? A young, handsome, able-bodied, anyway, definitely straight, maybe a little queer, but mostly for fun. I'm sorry. I went there. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
It's just like the
Okay, so at number 22, I got to go a little quicker here. We have the 2000 Song of the Year winner, which went to Santana's "Smooth." You know what? It's a catchy song. I mean, I'm not really gonna get too mad about it. If I look up the other nominees, I'm sure I'm gonna be like, ugh, this deserved it more. But this is also a song you would literally have to be living under a rock to have never heard before. So it definitely also had huge commercial appeal. And it also swept with Record of the Year and Album. That was the year of Santana. However, looking at some of these others, I don't know. It was the year of the boy band. I mean, I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. I mean, come on. Iconic. How did that not win? But anyway. All right. Moving on.
And I will be loving you till we're 70.
Okay. So at number 21, and I'm almost surprised I put him this high, but I have to be objective. It's not a bad song. If you want to do a pop ballad for adult contemporary radio, you call up Ed Sheeran. You get him on that guitar. His vocals are good. His songwriting is personal. I don't actually hate it. The thing I hate about giving Thinking Out Loud the 2016 Song of the Year award is that it should not have qualified for the 2016 Grammys, because this song came out with his album Multiply in June of 2014. Now think about it. That is almost 2 years before this Grammy nomination ceremony. The Grammy eligibility period for the 2016 Grammys was the end of September of 2014 to the end of September of 2015. This song came out in June of 2014. This song should have been nominated at the 2015 Grammys, not at the 2016. What's going on? And I looked further into it, and it turns out Ed Sheeran was able to finagle and convince the Academy to nominate him because guess what? When did the music video for this song come out? October of 2014. When did this song get the push to the radio? October of 2014. This isn't the only time we have seen, and probably not the only time from Ed Sheeran either, because I think we've seen this from other artists, particularly male artists, who have very egotistical marketing teams and campaigns pushing for the Grammys. Songs that technically were not released within the eligibility period, getting shoehorned in a year later when they weren't nominated for the previous Grammys because of a radio push. That's not fair to me. It's not fair. I am sorry. Yes, this song technically didn't really blow up and become a hit until the following Grammy cycle. I don't know. It's just, it makes me mad. Especially since it's going to Ed Sheeran. And I'm sure there were really good alternatives. Now, the truth of the matter is it probably stopped Uptown Funk from sweeping because Uptown Funk won Record of the Year, which again makes more sense. Uptown Funk is similar to About Damn Time, up-tempo, fun, kind of retro, it's more about the production and the styling. Thinking Out Loud is very much singer-songwriter affair. But for Song of the Year, Taylor got snubbed for Blank Space, which, Blank Space, I would have rather have seen Out of the Woods get nominated. I suppose it's better than Shake It Off. 1989 did win Album of the Year. Obviously, they couldn't give it to Multiply because it didn't come out in the eligibility period. It was probably nominated at the 2015 Grammys. I am glad it won over See You Again, which I'm kind of surprised Charlie Puth and is it Wiz Khalifa, I believe. That song had so much novelty behind it because of Paul Walker's death. I'm kind of surprised that didn't push it over the edge to win. But yeah, Thinking Out Loud over... Actually, looking at other nominees, I'm not entirely... Girl Crush is a song I never even heard of by Little Big Town, and then All Right by Kendrick Lamar. Hadn't heard it. I'm sure Kendrick deserved it, though. So maybe out of these nominees, I might as well. There's better songs that could have been nominated. Better songs. This was the year they really snubbed Florence, wasn't it? For How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful. They love to do that. Okay.
Take for someone to defend her. If we all agree that we're equal as people, then why can't we see what is evil?
So at number 20, we have the 2021 Song of the Year winner, I Can't Breathe by Her. The allegations of being an industry plant are never going to escape her, okay? And I gotta be real with you, when we all saw this award, I think we were all feeling that way. I had also never listened to this song before I made this video. And look, let's be completely honest, this song won on politics. This was coming, you have to remember, in the middle of the pandemic and right after the summer of 2020 when we saw Black Lives Matter protests get to a fever pitch. And the conversation around police brutality was probably at the most palpable it had ever been. And I do, the Grammys oftentimes, just like the Oscars, think about politics in these awards. And look, I mean, technically, her winning Song of the Year was a big deal because guess what? Song of the Year had not gone to a Black woman in a long time before then. There haven't been a ton. I mean, Beyonce did win for Single Ladies. So, like I said. I Can't Breathe is fine. At the end of the day, I don't have anything against it. It's a little on the nose for me. It's a little on the nose for me, especially since we've seen a lot of songs about this topic. And that's not to say I don't want to continue to see it. I like it when it's a little bit more creatively done. I feel as though, a straight up, very political politician delivery kind of a song about this topic can get heavy handed if it's not done artistically. And at a certain point, it starts to lose it's always going to be relevant, unfortunately. But, it's not a song that I think culturally captured the zeitgeist in a way that other songs might have. I mean, again, Beyonce's Lemonade comes to mind in just a really clever way of capturing the zeitgeist on songs like Forward and Freedom. And Kendrick Lamar does a really great job on, To Pimp a Butterfly. They do more interesting interpolations and lyricism about this topic. They write more interestingly about it. That's all I have to say. Okay.
I'm hypnotized. I'm walking on a wire.
At 19, we have the 1998 winner. I never knew the title of this song or the artist, but I had heard it before. Sean Colvin's Sunny Came Home. If you might be scratching your head going, that doesn't sound familiar. Who is Sean Colvin? Listen to the song and you'll be like, oh, I know that song. I've heard it in waiting rooms all my life. So actually, it's a good song. It's a good song. It's, give it to the female artists. Yes, please. I'm happy with this one. Not a big issue for me. And it was also a Record of the Year winner as well.
Machines just like a maze where all of the walls are continually.
At number 18, we have Daughters by John Mayer for the 2005 Song of the Year winner. Yeah, I mean, I think that the only thing I can say about this song negatively, because otherwise, I mean, it's John Mayer being John Mayer. Like, you got to admit his voice is so sultry and soft and cuddly. He's got that cuddly, hot cocoa on a cold day kind of voice that, I got to be honest, it does things for me. It does things for me. He's a handsome guy too. This song has kind of allusions to the American family, the American dream that I think really plays well to Middle America. Again, it's because it's a country song kind of statement, and he does do kind of this alt country pop thing, and it's very universally it's something that plays well on radio. I mean, again, he's an excellent guitarist and lyricist. So the only thing I've heard is some people say it's kind of like promoting grooming by talking about young women, that's a reach. That's a reach. I'm sorry. That's a reach.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now.
Okay, at number 17, we have This Is America by Childish Gambino. Now, see, this is where I do feel like the Grammys recently have been maybe, I have to be careful saying this, maybe getting too political. I don't know. Because, like I said, in some ways, I mean, this song is more interesting, and it's why I have it above I Can't Breathe. Because both of these songs are about police brutality and racial injustice in America. But Childish Gambino gives us something far more artistic, far more avant garde, far more, pondersome, especially with the music video. I honestly feel like the music video is, again, way more interesting than the song. If you listen to the song without the music video, you don't get nearly as much out of it. And it's also not entirely my kind of music anyway, so I'm more lauding it for the message than I am for the actual production. But I can understand lyrically why it would win Song of the Year. It wouldn't have necessarily been my choice, but I am happy with it. I do find it interesting that this was sort of Childish Gambino's it was sort of his swan song standalone single, and then he sort of disappeared. It also swept Record of the Year. But this was Casey Musgrave's Album of the Year award, so I can kind of see why she didn't win Song or Record of the Year for that album. But I'm certainly glad The Middle did not win. That would have been a tragedy. But I definitely, Shallow was right there. A little surprising that Shallow didn't win Song of the Year, because I don't believe Shallow was nominated for Record. No, it was. So I could have seen Shallow go for either, though I would have probably given Shallow Song of the Year, and I would have given This Is America Record. But that's tough, because both of them are really strong contenders for song. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, moving on. The oldest recipient for this, the oldest song in this list is going to the year I was born, 1993, Tears from Heaven by Eric Clapton. Another song that I didn't know the title of or who sang, but I'd heard the melody. Dulcet and vespertine, it's like an evening, like sunset kind of song and vibe. It's a beautiful melody. And for all that Eric Clapton is kind of problematic today, he wrote some good ballads.
I don't want you to leave. Will you hold my hand? Oh, won't you stay with me?
At number 15, we have Stay With Me by Sam Smith from the 2015 Grammys. I think this was a no-brainer win. I don't see this as controversial. It's probably who I would have given it to. I do think the song is a bit overplayed, and again, it's sort of a royal situation where, I'm a little over it, but, especially considering the technical, besides Elton John and some others in at least recent history, having a queer artist, even though he wasn't openly out at the time, win these awards is a big deal. And it did also get the Record of the Year award. I mean, again, for Beyonce self-titled, I don't necessarily see any of those songs getting any Song of the Year or Record of the Year wins. But this was, of course, the year that Beyonce also got snubbed to go to Beck for a rather lukewarm record that is, Anyway, I remember I checked it out after this because we were all like, who's Beck? Because I was like, some stupid young person who didn't know much about him. Anyway, Beyonce could have, again, Beyonce had all these opportunities to win, but the Academy just likes to bait and not give it to her.
Shining on my heart so you could see.
At number 14, Eric Clapton comes up again with Change the World. This is actually Eric didn't write the song, so it's a little bit like, is he the one we're giving it to the songwriters. So it is a good song, but I do not believe Eric Clapton actually wrote it. It was a cover at the time of a recent song of another artist who recently released it, if I'm not mistaken. But in 1997, he won. Change the World is a stronger song than Tears from Heaven, so I have it slightly above. I grew up hearing this song all the time, and it was like on a CD my parents had. It was like a Windham Hill collection or something, which is strange to have someone like Eric Clapton on it, but it was on there and definitely takes me back to long car rides as a kid.
So if you're trying to lay
At number 13, Silk Sonic, Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak's duo, "Leave the Door Open," their kind of retro R&B hit. It honestly hits for me. I had never fully listened to it like from start to finish until I made this video, and I was like, but can we talk about the production though? Like why did it win Song of the Year and not Record? Unless did it also win Record? Which it did. So, I mean, okay, like that makes more sense. So what I would have done is I would have given it Record, and then I would have given Song of the Year to Kiss Me More or Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. One of those two. Probably Happier Than Ever. The song deserved it, but whatever. At number 12, we have Viva La Vida. This is Coldplay's like big hit alongside Clocks, of course. And this time it got Song of the Year, unlike Clocks, which only got Record, which again, I would have given it Song of the Year. And anyway, Viva La Vida definitely deserved. This was the 2009 awards.
The house of fun. I don't know why I didn't come.
We're almost at the top 10. At number 11, we have Don't Know Why by Norah Jones for 2003. Yeah, definitely give Norah Jones her flowers. It's a safe choice, but it's one that I don't disagree with. I believe this was the year Avril could have won for Complicated, so I'm kind of annoyed she didn't win for Complicated because Avril deserves a Grammy. But what are you going to do? She also won. She swept all. This was the year of Norah Jones because she won all 4 categories: Best New Artist, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Album of the Year. Damn, that's a lot. Doesn't happen very often. And she beat out 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. But yes, this was the year Complicated was nominated, and I could have seen it going to Vanessa, but I would have given it to Avril. Kind of annoyed that they couldn't have just thrown in some Avril love in there. Avril also deserved Best New Artist as well. But anyway, I believe she was nominated, but she was. Norah Jones won. Beat out John Mayer too. Kind of surprised that John Mayer didn't win, honestly.
I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down. I'm still mad as hell.
So we finally reached the top 10. These are, the songs that would have already been on my phone. Like they're just really good. I've heard them probably a million times already. Not Ready to Make Nice by The Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. They won in 2007. Very happy with this win. It's a political song, which again is very important. And the message of it, the feminist kind of anthem that it is, was very important. And if I'm not mistaken, they also won Record of the Year for this as well. Is it a good enough song to win both? I guess I'm okay with it. I might have given Record of the Year to someone else, but maybe Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, because that's very, again, impeccably produced. So I understand it's for Song of the Year, but anyway. Okay, at number 9.
I was bruised and battered, I couldn't tell what I felt. I was unrecognizable.
Bruce Springsteen, Streets of Philadelphia from the movie Philadelphia. I live near Philadelphia, so this song is like huge for my area. And, Bruce definitely deserved. I mean, it is a really atmospheric, contemplative melody. It's kind of, I don't know, for Bruce, it's really refreshing to hear him sort of be more understated and subtle. And I don't know, it's one of my favorite Bruce songs. So happy to see it's getting its dues here. Let me just double check who won Record that year. I should have this all. Record of the Year went to All I Want to Do by Sheryl Crow.
I'd rather be at home with Brad.
At number 8, Amy Winehouse, Rehab. Definitely deserved the win. I think, again, clean sweep. She got Best New Artist. I think she got Album of the Year and Record of the Year. So that was, again, another sort of Norah Jones moment, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it was almost a clean sweep. River, the Joni Letters, is the Album of the Year winner. But everything else went to Amy. Number 7, Kiss from a Rose by Seal. This is 90s R&B pop balladry perfection. Like, I'm sorry if you think this song is overly schmaltzy. I don't care. Give me that, heart-struck melody and I will gobble it up. Seal definitely did his thing and it definitely deserved. And again, swept record and song, although Alanis Morissette probably gave him a run for his money because she won Jagged Little Pill for Jagged Little Pill album, but she did not win Best New Artist, which is kind of surprising. Okay, and then number 6.
Hello from the other side.
Hello by Adele, the 2017 Song of the Year winner. I definitely agree with this one. However, I think Hello is probably the strongest thing about 25. We obviously know 25 won Album of the Year as well, which was very controversial. Even Adele herself, admitted that she's cutting her a Grammy in half for her. And she won Record of the Year. So it's kind of like, couldn't Beyonce have gotten something? Because Formation was right there. And you can't give her Album of the Year, but you can't give her song or record. I believe Formation was nominated in both categories, like Hello, and Hello beat out both times. So the industry showing some bias there. Okay, the top 5.
And I wonder if I ever cross your mind.
Need You Now by Lady A, formerly known as Lady Antebellum. I totally agree with this. I think as far as like country breakaway hits of the last like 15 years, like this one is iconic. Really takes me back to high school because I listened to it a lot on the radio. My bus driver played it all the time. It was like nonstop on like the radio in 2010. So yeah, I'm not unhappy about it. And it was a Record of the Year and Album of the Year sweep.
The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost.
Number 4, Rolling in the Deep by Adele. Need I say any more? Once again, a sweep. Record of the Year, Album of the Year, and Song of the Year, and well-deserved. I know it was going up against Lady Gaga for Born This Way. And, personally, it is hard seeing that Album of the Year snub. If any Lady Gaga album deserved Grammy of the Album of the Year, it would have been Born This Way. But what are you going to do? I actually think that The Edge of Glory should have been nominated for Song of the Year. I'm not sure why it wasn't, but oh well.
Sometimes I love you. Sometimes you make me blue. Sometimes.
Number 3, Fallen by Alicia Keys. Say what you want about Alicia Keys. The girl can sing. Fallen is one of the. It's in the the pantheon of R&B, the 2000s. Alicia's alto and piano is just like next level, and she still sounds so good today. Like, I don't know, the harmonies. Oh no, I do not want to hear overrated with Alicia Keys ever. Okay, I don't want to hear those words together. And again, like seeing a Black woman win these kinds of awards. I was comparing Lizzo. So Song of the Year has actually gone to women of color and men of color, because, we've obviously got Seal and Luther Vandross and Bruno Mars, technically a man of color, and others. But it's also gone to a woman of color a lot more in this 30-year period that I'm covering than Record of the Year. Record of the Year only went twice Actually, really only once with this year, About Damn Time for Lizzo. The last time a woman had won Record of the Year was Whitney Houston for I Will Always Love You in 1994. Yeah, so nearly 30 years. So when Lizzo said it's about damn time for a woman to win Record of the Year, that's what she was talking about. But Song of the Year has been a little bit more even throughout, which I do like to see. Interestingly, Record of the Year did not go to Fallen that year. It went to Walk On by U2. So U2 got got the double dip. All right.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me.
At number 2, Alan Menken is a musical genius. A Whole New World from Aladdin definitely deserved to win. This was at Disney was at its peak in the Renaissance, and it wasn't just visually in animation and storytelling; it was in the soundtrack. Because of course, 2 years earlier, a year earlier, Beauty and the Beast, the song, was also nominated, though it didn't win for, I believe, Song of the Year. And I think it won the, I think Beauty and the Beast won the Oscar Best Original Song, so it did win there. But A Whole New World is just as good, it's just as strong of a song. I should make a video at some point where I like talk about my favorite. Well, I should make a video where I talk about all my favorite Disney movies, like Disney animated films. I could make a whole video about that. But I also could make a video sort of talking about like the best of Disney soundtrack because I'm not a huge musical person. But when it comes to Disney musicals and The Prince of Egypt, because that's not Disney, that's DreamWorks. But when it comes to animated film musicals, especially from the 90s, top tier. Top tier.
Between us, you have come to show you. Go on.
So number 1 was always a lock for me. And in fact, number 2 was as well. These two are obviously like are legendary. This was never ever going to go to anyone else. Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, the song from Titanic. It won Record of the Year and Song of the Year. It won at the Grammys, in which women did exceptionally well. Lauryn Hill took home Album of the Year and Best New Artist, and Madonna won Best Pop Vocal, and I believe Best Dance Recording for Ray of Light. All of those awards, you know, I'm just so happy with. The 1999 Grammys got it so right, and that makes me so happy. I think Shania Twain also did really well. I mean, it was the year of the woman, and it really deserved. But My Heart Will Go On, I have said this before. I believe that it has the strongest composed melody I've ever heard in a song. And I might just be biased because I also loved it as a kid. And you're really biased to things you love as a kid. But this song is just posed so well. I just cannot get over the melody, the soaring dynamics of it, the way it suits Celine's voice so well, and her achingly heartbroken delivery. James Horner's, flute. This was James and Celine really, Horner and Dion just at the top of their game. And it was always going to be my number 1 out of the last 30 years, if we're looking at Grammy Song of the Year winners. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts were on my ranking out of these 30. Which one would be your favorite? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to talk about the last 64 years of Grammy song-winning songs, I would still put My Heart Will Go On at the top of all of them. It's still the best one to this day, even if we consider, the 3 decades before I was born, that this contest existed, this award existed. But, I just ultimately, I felt like there was a lot more songs I hadn't heard before in the 60s and 70s. And I was just like, I want to make this video, but it would be way too long. I'm sorry. I'm doing this every year I've been alive, the Song of the Year award recipient. And yeah, it's really interesting to just look at what the Grammys board has deemed noteworthy over the last 30 years. And so much has changed in music and the pop landscape. And again, I do respect the Grammys a lot more than all of these other, silly music award shows. But the Grammys are frustrating because they're all over the place. And I do wish they were a little more consistent. They are kind of snobby, just like the Oscars. And then sometimes they also just really like their banal pop hits by banal male artists like Ed Sheeran and Bruno Mars. And I'm a little tired of that. And I hate to say it, but Adele, she gets a little too much love from the Academy, even though 30 was a great record. And people were like, there's no way 30 should win Album of the Year. If Beyonce wasn't in the equation, I would give it to 30. Like, seriously, if Beyonce was not in the equation, the next best is 30. Un Verano Sin Ti would have been a big deal as well, and a big moment for pop Latino, Latin pop, and I get that, but ultimately, me personally, I have way more of a connection to 30. Sorry, but of course, Renaissance deserved. We're so sorry, Beyonce. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Please give this a like and subscribe if you are new. I want to do this video again soon this year for the last 30 years of Best Original Song winners at the Academy Awards. So after we have the Oscars this year and we have the 2023 winner, I'm going to go and make a video of that. So have that to look forward to. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and light. Bye.